Want to know what clients are thinking when they look at your proposals on Upwork? Well, I just posted a job this morning to hire a graphic designer for some work that we needed, and I want to walk you through how we're looking at all the proposals that we got in. So let's go ahead and get into it. First off, you can see here's the job that I actually posted up on Upwork. You'll notice that we have as a client really good reviews, over 100,000 spent on the platform. So obviously we're a good client and we like to give good feedback, which is why we give 5-star reviews for our posts. So let's take a look at this job in a little bit more detail. So what I did was I said, look, we have some designs that we need done based on this concept of a laptop computer that has the words I freelance or freelancer for hire on it. It's done well for us and I want more versions of it. Now I've said in this description that, hey, you can use AI, all right? The problem with AI is that putting text and AI together really becomes kind of problematic. So I don't care if you use AI, I just want it to look clean and professional, and more importantly, something that would stand out. So that's why in the cover letter instructions, I was very clear. Provide your cost estimate for creating up these 10 images. Please include a link to your portfolio items. We are looking for a graphic designer. Do not boost your proposal. No reason to waste connects on this. We will look at all of them, and we always do, and this is going to be important later. And then, of course, creativity matters. What are we really looking for is an experienced designer that understands kind of what we're looking for and, more importantly, can bring an additional insight to bear. Whether they use AI or not, I don't really care. It's more about the creative expression. So we went through this and we posted this up here. Okay. So we started getting within minutes, lots of different proposals coming to us. Okay. I'm going to walk you through kind of what we were looking at, and hopefully you can see how the client's perspective is when they're looking at a job. Okay. The other thing that I think is really interesting, I think this is so important for everyone, is that when it is recommending freelancers, you'll notice that your portfolio item, your first piece is right here. Obviously, this is important for a graphic designer that you want your first portfolio item to really be something that stands out, gets the client's attention. I think this does a good job of it. I think a lot of times they do very well with it. The other thing you'll notice is that this title really plays a lot of importance. So expert graphic designer, okay. UI, UX designer, okay. WordPress developer. Well, are you a designer or are you a WordPress developer? This is why when we're making recommendations on your profile, to be very clear on the type of things that you do and be succinct about it. Again, kind of looking through this, I noticed one other thing that really stood out. Notice how the skills right here, notice there's no line that comes from your profile overview, but the skills do. Now look at this gal right here, this Cardi H. She has all of these skills listed right there, and it shows that she is in the top 1%. So all those certifications, all those things that you can do related to your skills actually has a lot of importance out there because, you know, it really stands out between this guy who boosted his versus her who obviously has a lot of the skill sets that we're looking for, and it's in the top 1%. So I keep on looking down through this. Some of these images right there, like I don't know who this person is. It doesn't really build a warm and fuzzy like, oh, this guy is really outgoing. Now, does that really matter for a graphic designer? Probably not, but I like to see who I am working with, and this is really the only representation of it. We keep on going down here, interesting portfolio pieces. I really like the way this guy did his headshot, by the way. It's just so clear. He looks like a nice, fun, easygoing guy, so he kind of really stood out there. And again, he has some really good skills. He's earned some things. Now, notice that I'm not concentrating on price just yet. And I'm going to explain why here in a second. So we went through and reviewed pretty much all of the different proposals that the invites, I should say, of people that were recommended. And then, of course, we've started to get in some proposals. We're getting even more proposals in. Now, this is really where, as someone who's looking to hire, I'm spending more of my time is what are the proposals people are sending in to me? Again, the boosted ones, okay? Don't care about boosted. And so, yes, I think these are probably boosted profiles, but when it comes to boosted cover letters, I specifically said, don't boost your cover letter. No need to waste connects. And so I can tell right away that these people probably didn't read what I had put together. Okay, so as you notice here on the screen, notice how skills really are dead center in this new experience. Your picture is over on the left, the cover letter is on the right, but this really just stands out to me because if I'm looking for a graphic designer, what is the skill that I would expect to be first and foremost? Graphic designer. I would expect that to be first. This is explainer videos, animations, YouTube video. That would be great if I was looking for a video guy, but not something when it comes to graphic design, which is what I'm looking for. Also, if I'm looking at the cover letters on the right-hand side, it's nice that they went through, like in this case, and he said, "Hi, Daniel," which is obviously not me, it's my partner, but at least they're taking some time to, try to personalize it. That's always helpful. This one is a good one as well. "Hi, Daniel and Sean." So she realizes there's two of us. And she's addressing the question, here's how much I'm going to charge. So again, some things that are kind of standing out. She did boost it up there. Now, one thing that you notice I'm not really paying a lot of attention to is best match. And the reason I go through that is because if you're looking at all these proposals, and I've got 26 so far, I'm just kind of skimming through them, looking at the skills because it's first and foremost. Maybe I'm looking over here, 100% job success rate, that's great. But I'm definitely, looking at the cover letter. Now, this one I want to point out because this one actually did stand out quite a bit, and I want to give her a lot of props. Notice how on all the cover letter things, everything looks kind of the same. If you just kind of quickly glance through this, you're like, okay, they're all kind of the same, except hers. Hers really stood out to me. She went through and she actually went in and bolded things that were important. She got kind of right to the point because I said the very first thing was, give us a timing and cost to get this done. Well, she came through and she said, I reviewed everything within 24 hours, 2 to 3 options, 2 to 3 rounds of revisions. Perfect. Portfolio, even better. And here's the thing. I can read this quickly. I can skim. I can glance. She's done a great job of using Unicode characters to make things pop. Have a look at my portfolio. Got it. 10, boom, looks like she's got it. Why choose me? Not bad. However, what I would love to have seen from her is message me on Upwork. I'm ready to get started. And then, of course, she put a link out to her portfolio, which, again, when you're hiring a graphic designer or pretty much anything, it's really important. Now, client feedback, she's got 4.9, so I assume people like working with her. Then I'm kind of looking at the work history, and I'm going, okay, all right, she's done some stand-up pouch design. She's done this. Okay, she's gotten some 5 stars. But what I've noticed is that I don't see portfolio pieces tied to these individual jobs. Now, she may not have done it yet. The other thing that I really want to look for, because, we're looking for a graphic designer, is her portfolio. And again, very clean, very, well laid out. It looks like she did this work. I would have loved to see that her brand was on there, i.e. that this was actually her work product because she put her mark or, like a trademark, her name, her image on there, but that's okay. It really came in and I'm like, okay, this is a good response. I like this. In fact, I shortlisted her because I was like, this is really impressive because she kind of got to the point very quickly. If we notice some of these others out there, there seem, hi, Daniel, that's fine. My portfolio is here. I've recently worked on ad visuals for, et cetera. This is not bad, okay? And because she does address what we're looking for. So I definitely don't want to be dismissive of it. It just didn't really stand out to me because it just didn't seem as tailored as, hey, I can get this done, especially when I'm looking at Kamala over there, which I thought did a great job. So I went kind of through every freelancer's profile because that's what I promised that we would do. And then I've gone ahead and I've started shortlisting some people. So let me walk you through kind of the thinking on shortlisting. All right. She did boost her thing, so I don't think she's really read it. But what really struck out at me in particular about her particular one was not the cost, and we'll get to that in a second. But she kind of went through and said, what is your timeline? Here's some projects. This is kind of wordy. I'm not really sure about it, but I did like some of her portfolio pieces. I did like the fact that she included those portfolio items in her response. So she not only took the time to put some attachments, which again, if you're in a visual arts, it's kind of nice, but I would also point out you always want to have good, clean names for your attachments, just because it's another opportunity to make you stand out. I kind of like how she went through this. And of course, I like how, some of the work that she's done. So overall, while she did boost, I was like, okay, maybe video animation and editing, motion graphics, maybe not in the mix, but there was just something in her portfolio that stood out. Gabrielle basically gave probably the worst cover letter. This is, to me, almost a cut and paste. Like, hey, I'll figure out your name real quick and I'll copy and paste in. I'm your creative partner. Take a look at my demo reel. The only reason I shortlisted him is I thought his demo reel was kind of impressive. So he did get my attention with something that's interesting, but he didn't really, take the time to at least say, hey, I see what you're trying to go for. Let me help you out. All right. Kamal, we definitely have already talked about. VJ was actually really good. I think of all of these so far, he's a graphic designer, UI, UX, presentation and pitch decks. Really liked how I can read his things. Absolutely love this project idea. I know it sounds petty, but you always like to work with people who are excited to work with you. And then he just kind of repeated, designing laptop covers for freelancers is right in my wheelhouse. Perfect. I can imagine a sleek. He talks about his conceptualization of where he's thinking with this. Regarding timeline, please reach out so we can discuss a structure that meets your needs perfectly. So what I would have loved to see from VJ is a little bit more of the Upstyler toolbar features that we have where he's pointing things out because it makes sense. He wants to know a little bit more about this. He's got good feedback, and I can just go through and I can quickly see, wow, he's got some really good reviews out there. And of course, his portfolio looks very impressive. So overall, I think just a really solid, way of putting something together as far as getting attention out there. Okay. Now, this one I shortlisted primarily because Sayeda had probably the most interesting cover letter that actually did get my attention. So Pouncer, obviously, is based on a puma, pouncing on opportunities on Upwork, right? So she actually went through and kind of wrote this story about a predator stalking, and I'm there to get you those killer visuals. I actually think as being clever, which if you're looking for designers, you're looking for creativity, being clever is a very important feature. I really thought this was a very interesting approach. I don't think that her skill sets and her designs really kind of match with what we're looking for, but as attention getting, she really conceptualized the brand in a way that made it, kind of interesting to read her actual cover letter. So again, things to stand out. Going back to the attachments though, these naming conventions, seriously, just rename your files to be something more descriptive. Good that she included her portfolio highlights. This actually stood out because there were some things that we want to do with these ads, and she obviously has experience with it. So overall, not bad at all. But I will say this, the 3D animation pro, rigging expert, etc. I don't feel like she's a graphic designer. She obviously is, but if I was just looking at this, I wouldn't say, wow, that's a graphic designer. Plus, her picture is a little, it's not as friendly. She obviously is an attractive person, but it just seems like it's so dark and hidden that it doesn't really stand out. The last one that I want to go through is Tracy. Now, Tracy is very new, and I will tell you, I will almost always give deference to new freelancers on Upwork because we, like many of you, we're new on the platform. We know how important those first projects are. She wrote a interesting cover letter because I did say it's okay to use AI in this. Obviously we're an AI company. You can just tell from her cover letter that she's not a big fan of AI. I get it. I think many copywriters, designers may not like it. So I get the point, and she also included references to things that she does like. So overall, I think this is not bad, but I think if you're new to the platform, I think what you want to show is, hey, I'm excited about you. I have the experience. I can, here's my creative conceptualizations. I can deliver it in this time period, all of which would have been easier to understand if she had been more like Kamal, who had a very clear, distinct, pointing things out. Now, let's get to the final piece, which is pricing. And I ended with her because, as you can tell from all the bids out there, she is the most important, the most expensive pricing on the project. Now, that's not bad sometimes, okay? It's not. But if I'm looking at others who have similar skill sets, I am going to be looking at pricing. So Kummel here has about 49. There's about $40 there. It's not too much of a price differential, so there is obviously some leeway in it. We actually set the pricing for this project from $20 to $55 per hour, all of which have come into budget, except, of course, Tracy. Now, Tracy, of course, new to the platform, obviously doesn't understand some of the techniques that we teach in our community site about how to get those initial work out there to build up the ratings. But she at least was honest with me about, hey, this is my concerns, but this is what I can do for you, and I'm going to charge you a premium for my work. So again, nothing wrong with that approach, but when you're looking at the other designers out there, where is that sweet spot that I'm looking at? And I'm saying, okay, these two right here, these look pretty good. I really like what she did. I think her design aesthetics are interesting. VJ, I think this is all he does, right? He is a graphic designer, like he knows his business. I loved how she put in here that she is, quick delivery. So when I'm looking at this, obviously she's a visionary graphic artisan with a quick turnaround. That's so interesting to me because she says, I am different, I am creative, and I can get you what you want quickly, and I'm going to make it easy for you to make a decision. I think hers by far stands out. So what's going to be the deciding criteria? Well, right now, I'm leaning towards these two individuals just because based on their portfolio items and looking at their work, as well as their cover letters that got our attention, I'm kind of leaning in their direction right now, even though we have some more that have come in. So obviously, there are some people that I would love to work with, but price is not the driving factor. And that's, I think, so important. It is a way to discriminate. Okay. Once I've started, paring down the list and I'm looking, saying, okay, what's the difference between this and this? And maybe I would want to pay more if someone, really proved that they, could meet our criteria and had the design that we wanted. So again, at the end of the day, I just wanted to share this with you so that you can understand how someone like us, who's obviously hired a lot of people on Upwork, how we start to look at these different things when it comes to finding a client, when it comes to finding a freelancer on the platform. So quick takeaways. I know this was long. Portfolio, absolutely required, must have. Don't even hesitate to make sure that first portfolio item and that first image just pops and grabs attention. Make sure that you've got that title in there. That title is so freaking important because that's really all I see if I'm looking to invite someone in there. And then these are boosted profiles. I'm almost, these are people who are boosting their profiles up to get higher up there. It helps, obviously, to boost your profile. I'm not going to dismiss it. But when it comes to boosting your proposal, it's nice to be in the top ones. And yes, she did post it. And it was only because I actually promised everyone I would look at their stuff that she even made the shortcut list. But it wasn't, I would say, because she boosted it. It's only because I promised everyone we'd go through it. So when you're looking at this, good clean picture right here, good image right there, happy smiling faces, clean titles right there, always important. And then when you start to get into the details, really make sure that your skills are in order. Make sure that you've got a clean image right there and do something with your cover letter that stands out. Yes, including our name was nice. I appreciated the effort. I don't care that ChatGPT may have found it. Does not matter. But what I really thought was something, and I think is a good lesson here, is notice, personalized, bold, right to the point. I mean, I was like, this gal, she really stood out. Other things that I'm looking at is, of course, location. Being in Canada means she's in a similar time zone. Even though VJ is in India, maybe that's a factor, maybe it's not. Best match, okay, yeah, but I've got a lot of best matches in here that I don't think are best matches, so I'm not giving that much weight. But really think through those skills. Really think through the things that'll pop, and especially looking at that bold over there, that is, you can just clearly tell this person is standing out amongst everyone else and makes me want to go view more about what she has to say. And then as I do that, I'm just looking at it going, okay, got the skills, good design, love this visionary graphic artisan. It's just so quirky, and that's kind of what you want in a creative person. So anyway, hope this helps you guys. And if you're a designer, look for this job on Upwork because I'm going to be hiring here very shortly.